future of retail Asia with Jun and Imran, powered by Aimazing.
Welcome back to another episode of The Future of Retail Asia. My name is Imran.
And I'm Jun. Joining us today from Malaysia over Zoom is Hoey Theen. She's currently the General Manager of Marketing and Business Innovation at Sunway Malls. Welcome, Hoey Theen.
Hi, hello everyone. Nice to meet everyone here.
Thanks, Hoey Theen. Hoey Theen has many years of experience in marketing, public relations, and branding, with experiences in both offline and online retail, working at online retailer Crabtree and Evelyn, as well as Hartama's shopping mall, before entering Sunway Malls, where she has been for over 15 years now. That's quite a while. Very happy to have you on the show with us again.
Yes, I think our last guest from Malaysia was on almost a week ago, right? And then we was keep hearing about a lot of good things about the economy is slowly recovering in Malaysia. And I saw a lot of my friends posting that when they want to go to Jun Ting, the traffic is so bad. Right? So how is the reopening in Malaysia there?
Well, I would have to say that in the past few weeks, ever since the government announced that the remaining economical trades can open up, we saw a change in the traffic. People were coming out, day by day, the traffic is increasing. A lot of our businesses, we have about 7 malls under Sunway Malls. So we saw a traction of going up to about easily 80% of pre-COVID days. So if we compare pre-COVID to what we have recorded as of last week, we saw that 80% jump in terms of the traffic. Sales has also picked up. So in a way, I would have to say that recovery has already commenced for a fair bit of our retailers.
That's really great to hear that the situation is improving. In Singapore, we're still going through what they call the stabilization phase. So still some way to go. But I think similar types of data to what you've seen. So in the previous month, with the MCO 3.0 hitting hard on retailers and the malls, what steps did Sunway take together with the retailers to keep the malls relevant, to keep people coming back in the mall and to keep the industry afloat?
I would have to say that in Malaysia, what we have experienced is slightly different from what happened in Singapore. We've been through the journey, both countries, about the same time. But what happened in Malaysia is that we have 2 very long lockdowns for the shopping mall and the retail industry. So during these 2 lockdowns, when it first happened, of course, everyone was wondering what's happening. This is unprecedented. It's never happened. It's once in a lifetime kind of experience. So at that point in time, there was a fair bit of uncertainty and there was a lot of fear going on. What we did was to look at, understanding what's happening on ground. I think when you understand, it's a lot easier to deal with the situation. And that's exactly what we did. We look at several aspects. One of it is business continuity. So our stakeholders here are really the retailers, the community surrounding us. So this is where we looked at aspects on how to help them in terms of business continuity. I believe the news have gone public. We were the first to come out to say that we will provide rent relief to our retailers. And we provided 150 million last year in terms of rent relief. This year, we recorded about 250 million rent relief to our retailers. Now, they are very key to us is because a shopping mall is as good as the content that we have. So it is very important to make sure that these retailers survive, continue with their business. Once the economy comes back, there is no uncertainty that they won't do well. They will do well already because economy is back, people are spending. So it's just going through this period of difficulty. Not only that, we introduce rent support in terms of through financing relief. We work with one of the local financing institution on this, and that's taking care of the business community. But we also have the general consumers who are fearful. Suddenly, this COVID thing, you have to wear double mask, you have to wear face shield. So that fear culminates into people wanting safety. If wherever they go, they wanted safety. So we understood that safety was key. And that's how we looked at it, and we introduced campaigns like, your safe space is our safe space. or safer together, safer community together. So these are the key campaigns that we looked at when we communicated with our consumers, and it did very well. We were the first to come out recently last month to announce that we will only accept double vaccinated dose into the mall. I know that Singapore recently introduced this, but it was done a lot earlier in Sunway Malls, about at least about 1 month earlier. So we were the first to announce this. It was not required by the government, but we felt that it was necessary to raise the safety bar so that people will feel more comfortable about returning to the mall. And when we went on ground, 90% of the social media perception was on the positive side. There were a lot of people saying, like, good job, like now we feel safer to come out into the mall. So that's what we have been doing.
It seems very nice on the surface, right? Oh, very nice and public relations headlines, so to speak. But I mean, we know for sure, right? Like behind the scenes, you and your team must have really overclocked that thing, and it does seem that people in the industry feel that the landlords can and should be doing more. But clearly, for example, with your team, you guys have really been working around the clock to look at every aspect of this.
Yes, we did. When we looked at, it's not just a campaign for a consumer reason or just a PR reason, but it's very true to our own belief. We want to also work. This is coming from an employee's perspective, and also, as a retailer, you would want to work in an environment that is safe. So it's not just a PR talk, but it comes down to the operational aspect. We put in a lot more safety measures. Back then, the expected cleaning, many announced that every 4 hours we would clean the mall, we would sanitize the mall. We went on the level of every 45 minutes. And in fact, we even look at nano smart coating for a lot of high contact surfaces, and this lasts for 1 year. So in other words, it's constantly clean and sanitized.
Right.
Yeah, we believed in that. And we were just sharing, like previously, when you're in the hotel industry, you look at the aspect of smell. You look at all the five senses. You want people to see good things. You want people to feel good things. You want, when the touch is clean. It's all these were very important in the aspect of communicating safety. So we were just joking, for once, we wanted the mall to smell sanitized and to smell sterile. So we thought that, why not put the antiseptic smell in, so that people will feel that it smells like Dettol, that kind of, and you feel that it's a lot cleaner. But reality is that people do welcome this. Previously, our cleaners will always be cleaning back of house. You don't see them. But during this COVID period, in the past 18 to 19 months, our cleaners are at the forefront. They're constantly cleaning, and people love seeing the sight that, after I walk, this person is cleaning the floor. In pre-COVID days, this would have been considered very rude. Why are you cleaning after me? Like, this is so rude. Am I so dirty? But today, please clean after me. Please clean before me. Even better. So yeah, things change. Operationally, there were a lot of changes. We knew that there was a lot of uncertainty among our retailers. They didn't know what to do. So what the mall did was we developed a guideline for all our retailers, looking into the operational aspects, guiding them that that these are the minimum that you need to do. You can do above and beyond, no problem, but minimum you need to do this when we open the mall. So when after the first lockdown, a lot of our retailers were able to open, and we were able to maintain a certain level of safety across all, is because everyone had the same guidance.
I think very interesting. I think just now I mentioned, right? Like people, when they smell something, they feel safe. Before that, they will feel like, hey, you are damn rude, right? So especially like for the offline entire shopping mall, is like now I think it's changing. It's more just a transaction. It's more about providing the experience, right? So we thought about like need to show like online, or not need to show. It's like really provide a very safe environment for people to shop, right? And then what kind of other effort that actually Sunway is doing for taking people back to shop inside the shopping mall?
Right. Well, while we work on the safety campaign, that is an always on. So we don't stop that, because as long as COVID is present, safety will always need to be the key communication. And I think it's a very powerful marketing strategy, because it's not just a strategy, but it's a real promise that we are putting on ground. So safety came first. But we also realized that people want to come back. And when they come back, you spend 18 to 19 months in fear, in lockdown, staying at home, cooped up, not being able to go to work, not, like socially disengaged, reason being that you are only communicating via PC or, via the phone. People are wanting to come out. So what we saw in the past recent weeks is that, there's this sudden influx of people coming out, seeking, experiences, seeking escapism from what was work from home syndrome. And when people came out, we looked at creation of experiences. So, for example, we had recently worked with Netflix to bring the Squid Game experience on ground. So one of the malls,
nice.
Sunway Pyramid, has the that doll, the iconic doll, and the pink soldiers or officers. Well, I'm not sure how you call them because everything is Korean. So, so they were here. They're here from the beginning of October until end of October, and it caused such an uproar. It went viral among the Malaysian community. We have people traveling as far as out of state, coming into Klang Valley just to take photos with that iconic doll and the pink officers. Yeah, we saw an uplift of approximately 30% in terms of traffic for that.
Right.
Yeah, very, very good result. So what people are looking for today is really experiences, but they want to experience it safely. They want something different. And also at the same time, having spent so much time at home, there's also a lot of pent up demand in terms of spending. So we were very pleasantly surprised to see that many people were spending, and people were just buying. They were just like eating out, and engaging with their families, that they've not seen for so long, with their close friends. So this is where the shopping mall creates that opportunity for people to engage and interact. So that's where it is very important that moving forward, malls have to look at themselves in a different way. We have to move towards being more experiential and being able to do this in a safe way.
We've covered so much ground there, right? And I think it's quite a nice melting pot of you've covered the crisis measures, and then now you're looking at creating experiences, installations, working with other partners like Netflix. We do have some people coming on and sharing about how they're reimagining the whole experience, right? The retail experience using digital technology, using omni-channel methods, using, for example, how would click and collect play in this environment? How would e-payments play in this environment? And we've noticed, for example, Sunway are looking at a lot of omni-channel strategies, right? Your customer engagement hub, your Sunway eMall, which, by the way, congratulations for the announcement. How are you guys looking at reimagining the whole customer experience using digitalization?
Right. Now, if we look at what consumers are doing today, every one of us, must live with our handphone. We can forget our wallet, leave it behind at home. No problem. We won't go back to pick it up. But if you talk about your handphone, right, if you leave it behind, that's it. End of the world. We need to go back and take the handphone. If you lose your handphone, it's even a bigger deal. So everyone's mobile. Everyone is literally interconnected via social media or, like constantly consuming digital information via the internet. So with that in mind, that is also a major change in terms of how consumers behave, and that needs to be taken into consideration when we continue the sustainability of the mall. Business sustainability here now no longer operates just only in the physical sphere. We consider that the shopping mall has to evolve, and evolution here involves the creation of putting in the online experience. So if what you can see with the eMall is an extension, what we probably call the 8th mall of Sunway Malls. It supports all the shopping malls. So you can literally buy anything that is on eMall and have a consolidated delivery to your home with a single delivery charge. And right now it's free delivery for all. So that's what we looked at. We see it as a supporting experience to create the next step, which is the offline to online and online to offline. So your O2O is the future of what we see at Sunway Malls. We don't believe that people shop physically exclusively or shop online exclusively. People shop both ways, and why not take this into consideration and create it into a complete customer experience. From whether you're buying online, you can easily switch to offline and both ways. Yeah, so that's important to us.
Yes, yes. I think very interesting. I think because when we thought about like online, offline, omni-channel, especially like the offline entire retail space need to be more on the experience, not just the transaction. I think we keep repeating this, right? So for online one, because I think previously the guests will share like online difficulty is a very competitive market, but the easier way is actually at online space you are able to get all the data. But offline space is very hard for a shopping mall to collect all the data from every single merchant, right? Due to the fragmented of the POS market. So just curious, like what is your view that if you can imagine that if a shopping mall is able to get the entire offline transaction data, what kind of these data that can help a shopping mall? And like especially for Sunway Mall, are you facing any difficulty to getting the offline transaction data?
That is a very good question. I will give it a slight different perspective. There are plenty of data points if you look around and if you search. You can find data just about anywhere. And putting the data together is very important. We have what we call here, like, you have so much data that you don't even know what to do with it. And that goes with offline also. So online, fantastic information. I mean, when we look at, all the online data, it's really fantastic, like what you've mentioned. But offline, there are a lot of data points. For example, we have smart parking, which is very much your physical car going in, but we are able to trace the license plate and recognize it, and you can just pay online easily. So this is the O2O experience that we are looking at. Nobody wants to queue up in front of an auto pay machine because it's just, well, number one, long queues. Number two, again, there's contact with a physical device. So many people are trying to go contactless because of COVID. Now, this was a good creation in the sense that it goes both ways. Now, the data that we collect from there is really good because now we know that 80% to 90% of the consumers in the mall comes from car park. So that's where your data comes in. Then we have, the loyalty program, which again, it's also part of, like a data collection point. And if you look at, contactless payment or going digital, you have the unified payment terminals inside our malls. And we are also able to collect quite a fair bit of data from there. So putting all these together gives you a lot of insight to how our consumers behave. Now, being in a traditional physical mall, the brick and mortar mall, malls will need to put into place, data collection points so that, they can also be able to look at their own, situation more accurately. Yeah. But if you can combine that with online, that's even more powerful.
Yeah, I think we've had some of the experts that come on and say, we should be looking at the car that comes in, looking at the license plate, knowing what they buy from the loyalty program, and then giving them the right thing right there and then, right? So I think this whole idea of complete, perfect personalization probably sounds like the pot at the end of the rainbow for most of the marketers, but going back to today, right? I think there's a lot of constraints and realities around us. What are you most excited about, right? Because you're in charge of not just marketing but actual business innovation, right? What are you working on? If you can share with us anything, or what is the most what technology or innovation are you looking at in terms of customer experience that you would say you're excited about right now?
I would have to say that, it's all about the customers. I mean, we are all in business is because of our customers. So first thing that we want to do is to understand our customers. And that's where recently we shared that we have something called a customer experience engagement hub. And that's where we collect a lot of information about ourselves from the consumers and what people say about us. And we have been engaging these customers. These are not even directly inside the mall, but they are, tweeting or, putting up a posting that, they mention, something about the mall. And we can intercept and engage the customer at that point. So that in a way for us, the customer experience begins from the moment, they think about shopping, they think about coming to the mall. So that is the key point of engagement. And from there, we work on all the touch points that we have with the customers. So if they come into the mall, the car park experience must be fantastic. And then when you think about, and that's where we thought about, the smart parking. It was actually very interesting feedback. A lot of people actually share with us, if you can, you work with all the banks, work with all the, like e-wallets, and you can pay with any of the e-wallets. And that got us thinking, it was a customer feedback and we made that happen. So there was quite a fair bit of research. And today you can use any wallet, any bank to pay for that parking. We don't mind, it's as fast as easy as 1, 2, 3. So that's what happened. And then you enter the mall. You don't want to be spammed by, so much things. So what we did is to look at what you have rightly pointed out, personalization. With the millions of customers that walk through the malls each month, we want to ensure that their experience is good. So that's why we look at personalization. We only serve you information that is relevant to you. We curate the experience based on that. So one of the mobile apps, actually not one of the mobile, all our mobile apps have something called real-time navigation. So you can literally navigate inside the mall like a mini Waze without getting lost. Just follow the phone. You'll be fine because you're so used to looking at the phone anyway. It's really insight in terms of customer behavior. We love our Waze. We love our Google Map. So why not build that mini Waze, mini Google Map into the mall? And people use that to find their way around. And to make it even easier, we are all talking about express. We're talking about convenience. Every one of us is short of time. We want to do 3 things at the same time if possible. So we design the experience to be, to match this kind of demand, which is convenience and to shorten your shopping time. So we have a route planner built into the mobile app in which you can choose your location and it will tell you the shortest way to get through all the locations. So customer experience is very much understanding the customers and using and developing tools to help the customer improve their experience is something that we all should look at, and that's how business sustainability can continue.
Yeah.
Well put, man.
Yeah, interesting. I think we touched about the customer's experience, and then just very curious, right? Because all the way that like when we talk to a lot of like guests, like a lot of our audience, they will say that like, hey, I know shopper is very important, customer is very important, mall very important, right? Are you facing any challenge to convince the retailer to going digital, right? Because end of the day, a mall need to be success that retailer need to become in, landlord need to become in, shopper, and then together everyone is like create the success shopper experience, right? Like, but always have a challenge to work with the retailer. What is your take for this one?
Well, it's all about the business proposition and the readiness also. I would have to say that what COVID did, COVID is the best CIO, in a sense that, everybody is going digital. Every auntie, uncle, grandma, grandfather all know how to use QR code. Take out how to use it. I would have to say that it's fantastic how everybody's mindset changed. And that goes the same for businesses. Every business now is trying to go digital, whether is it via e-commerce or whether is it via, however, everyone is trying to go digital. So with that, the market situation is that the readiness is there. So these retailers are very happy to actually look at new concepts. And that's where we are very excited is because in this period of lockdown, we had a lot of conversations with our business partners and the retailers, and many of them have brought to the table new concepts that is a hybrid of digital and physical experience, and that is very exciting. I mean, one of our retailers, Adidas, if you go into their store inside Sunway Pyramid, which is their flagship, they have digital experiences built in. And that's fantastic because this is exactly what shoppers are looking for. Experiential, being able to carry your, O2O and being able to build that, hybrid experience for them.
I think this is what I will say, right? I think what I've really taken away from this, specifically what your team has done, is about how to really look at customer being the center of the business. And then secondly, using real business win-win use cases to really pull everyone together, right? I have to say this, right? Because it's not always that we find this to be the case, right? Like I think in many other cases, we do see that the relationship can be tenuous at best. So I think that's something that really struck me so far in our conversation. I think we're towards the end of the episode. I think what I will ask is we do have a couple of standard questions we ask. So let's say we have a fellow mall manager in front of you today, right? Which likely will be the case with the people watching today. What would be your one advice to them?
Listen to the customer. Listen to the customer, and we're not talking about just the public consumers, but also another group of customer, which is the retailers, the tenants themselves. They are a very important stakeholder. Working together with them will take you further than trying to do this on your own. So it's about, I would have to say that the shopping mall, treat it like a gig economy in which your retailers are part of your gig and they are the ones who's going to make things happen also together with you.
Wise words again. And for the retailers, then a retailer coming to you, they're looking at, okay, what's next? How do I evolve now? What's your one piece of info?
Always think about on the longer term. What's going to happen in a year's time? What's going to happen in 3 years' time? It's about business sustainability. So be flexible to change, but yet being able to remain, focused on the end goal.
And our final question: do you think that physical retail still remain king?
Yes, it's because people are still looking for experiences. I love the idea of virtual reality. I really love, I have to say that I love the internet very much and I love digitization, but it still cannot replace the physical experiences. But what's going to change in terms of physical experiences is that it's going to be a hybrid. It's going to be an interactive experience where the offline and online is converged. You will have more of like a phygital kind of experience in the creation of shopping mall spaces. I would have to say that the shopping experience will have to change, but it's going to change for the better.
Okay, with that, we've sadly come to the end of the episode. Again, Hoey Theen, thank you so much for being here today, and congratulations again with all the wins and the announcements that Sunway Malls have been doing, and we really can't wait to see what else you guys have in store. It's a really exciting.
We have to keep a lookout. I mean, we are always, like I said, we are incubating quite a fair bit of things. So once it's ready, then we will announce. But normally, that privilege of announcement goes to my CEO.
Naturally. For any of the listeners here today who have any questions or any comments, please feel free to comment right into us. And if there's any questions for Hoey Theen, of course, we'll forward it to her. So again, thanks for being on the show, Hoey Theen. And for the listeners, we'll see you in the next episode of The Future of Retail Asia. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
How will retail change post-pandemic? Download the Future of Retail white paper from our website, aimazing.co.